So I've played football in different pitches, different places, with different people, cultures. It's just something that sort of taught me so much about life. My name is Jack Steele. I'm from England and Kenya. I started playing my sport since as long as I can remember, really. I would say around the age of 4 was when I really started playing football, and then just got serious and more serious ever since then, really. My family is a big football family. Ever since I was little, if there was any ball, I'd be kicking it. There's been multiple lessons that I've learned, but I think really the biggest one is just acceptance. I think, you learn to accept so many different people through the love of the game, and I feel that playing in different cultures, different countries, you learn so much just by experiencing the different things that everything has. Kenya's got dirt pitches, we call them the red soil pitches, where England's got, pristine pitches, and you're playing against some of the biggest clubs. It just teaches you the whole idea of acceptance and, just embracing whatever opportunity that you have at hand, and I feel that's a life skill more than just a football skill. A moment that really stuck out to me when my mum and my sister were watching me play. There was my last game in England. It was just the best memory because I thought that it was my last chance at making an impact over there in England before I came over to America. And just having them there, their presence at the game made me play that much harder. I managed to get in contact with Mick and Joe, had a couple emails with them, and then jumped on a couple Zoom calls, and that was a really big thing for me because it's only so much you can learn from an email. I really wanted to speak to them, and I think from speaking to them, the amount of calls that we had and just the check-ins and the care that they put into the recruiting process with me, that was really just sort of what clicked in my mind of this is the right place for me to go. They just seem to care so much about the player, what they want out of the experience, so I thought that was my best bet, and they were eager to speak to my mum as well, which was something I was really happy about because they care about family. The pen to paper feeling is something I think all athletes long for. So for me, being able to sign that paper, it was more than just saying I'm there. It was sort of a commitment to another family that I'm going into, and now being here on the other side of it, a year and a half later, 2 years later, all I can say is it is another family away from home. It is my family away from home across the pond, and that feeling is something I'll never forget. Definitely had many of those moments of the welcome to Asheville. This is what's going to be happening, and I would say the first one for me was in pre-season in my freshman year. I don't think I've ever been in a more competitive environment and in a place where you have to be at your best 24/7, and there are times where you're not going to want to be with the team. You've been with the team for 16 hours plus and you just want to get into bed, but really that's what makes the winning culture and the culture that we set for ourselves as the men's soccer team. We have a very high standard and we all look to keep that. That really just sort of put into perspective for me that this is the place I've come to, this is the level that I've come to, and this is Asheville. The flip side of it, in my first year, it's the first time I've ever seen a black bear, and I'm getting scared where all the American boys are just, chilling out, then they know what's happening. Those are definitely my two welcome to Asheville moments, two very different things.
Blasted by Steele! Steele makes it 4!
I'd say Asheville's given me so much more than just football, for sure. Because I think if you look at it in England, you're either chasing the pro contract or you're doing something else. And part of the reason why I chose America is you can still chase your dreams of becoming a professional footballer and the career side of it, as well as getting a degree in your back pocket. And it's so much more than just a degree. I've learned that you can be a part of different committees, clubs, communities that are away from football at the same time while you're playing at the highest level against the best teams, against some of the best players in the country, as well as the facilities in the country. Going up and down the East Coast in our conference in the Big South, you play against so many different people in different regions, different areas, and it's just taught me a lot about the USA and how it's different to England. And I feel like those differences are something that are very important in life, because it teaches you how to just be able to get into an environment and take it for what it is, and embrace what's ahead of you. Where we played against Winthrop at home in front of a big crowd with an unreal atmosphere. I think that was the first time as a team that we felt, we've done this, and we've really shown Asheville, shown the Big South, and shown, men's soccer and, Division I soccer, that we're a team that is capable, and we're a team that's capable of doing big things. And that was the time where I felt the most belief in the team that I've ever felt before.
Makes it 1-0 Asheville! Bulldogs are going to the conference final for the first time.
I never thought I'd actually meet people that were this authentic and this nice, and you know, guys that I can really call my brothers through experience, through hardship, through winning, through losing. Like, we've been through it all together, and that just makes them more than a team, more than my teammate. You know, it really does make them my family, my brothers. The one thing that I would want people to remember about me and about how I had an influence on their life would be just the fact that I could have inspired them in some way to be a better version of themselves. I just want to make sure that wherever I go, I make a difference in whatever way that can be, whether it's on the pitch, off the pitch, in the hallways, in a meeting, in discussions, at events. I just want to make sure that people always remember that I tried to make a difference and tried to make them smile and make them have a bit of a better day. I think it's the small things in life that really matter, that, you know, can affect people for the long run, the small things that people can remember for their whole life, and just the things of being a servant person, a servant leader, that will always try and make somebody feel like they can do something better and they're a better version of themselves. My name is Jack Steele, and I'm all in Asheville. I'd say two of my favourite memories being at Asheville now for, you know, a year and a half, 2 years. The first one would definitely be the conference semi-final, where we played against Winthrop at home in front of a big crowd, with an unreal atmosphere. I think that was the first time as a team that we felt, you know, we've done this, and we've really shown Asheville, shown the Big South, and shown, you know, men's soccer and, you know, Division I soccer, that we're a team that is capable, and we're a team that's capable of doing big things. And that was a time where I felt the most belief in the team that I've ever felt before.